शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानामेकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹர ஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாபிப சம்பிரக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहं। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्री गुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं चक्रवाटी ध्रुवमभिलषति व्यर्थमर्तिव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्री भट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशी विभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाबात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മന്യനെ കുംഭീരേന്ദാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കുന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we just do a quick review of 11. Ramesh, 11 பண்றல நீங்க இன்னைக்கு?
Yeah, பண்றேன்.
Okay.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Dasakam 11. Kramena sarke parivartamane katapi divya shanakatayaste pavat vilokaya vikuntalokam prepetire marutamandirese sa manognayna shreyakana nadhyai anekavapi manimandiraicha anopapam tam bhavato niketam munishwara prabhapuratita kakshaya.
Ramesh, the first line, yeah, the way to, we can easily break it is Manognya Naishreyasa Kananadhyehi.
Manokya naishreyasa khananadhyai.
Yeah, exactly. Kananadhyehi. Visarga.
Visargamata. Manokya naisyas ro. It is something.
Manognya Naishreyasa.
Oh, naishreyasa. Manokya naishreyasya kananadhyai.
Yeah, that's all.
Anekavapi manimandiraicha anepapam tam bhavatu niketam munishwara prapapurati takakshyaha bhavaddhid rushun bhavanam vibhukshun Twasastatau jayastatan vijo priyatam.
Dwastau Jayastan. Second line.
Dwastau jayastan vijayos priyatam. Esham cha chitte patamapapo kopaha. Sarvam bhavat prarena vaibhuman. Vaikundalohkanuchitaprashtau kashtau yuvam daityakatim bhajetam idi prasatau bhavadashtrayatau harismritam no tviti tenutustan
Nematustan. Last word.
tviti nematustan Tato tajnaya bhavananavaptaha sahaiva lakshmya pahiram bhujaksha kageshwaram sarpita charu bahuhu anantayam stana piramamurdhyam.
Last line. Anand.
Anandayam statanabiramamurtyam prasatya kirbhistvatuto munindram, right?
Munindran. In Munindran.
Munindran ananyanata vadaparshadautau sanramma yokena pavaistribirmam upeta midyata kripam nyakati tvatiya britya vadakashyapatau surari vira yuditau Santya samutpatana kashtashtau yamau chalokasya yama vivanyau hiranyapurva kashipuk kilaikahai
Kilekaha. Kaha. அவ்வளவுதான்.
Hiranyapurva kashipu kilaikaha pare hiranyaksha idi pratitataha Upau bhavannātamasheshalokam Rushanurindhyam Nijavasanadhau.
And the second line, first word is paro. Okay, I think you said pare, paro.
Paro hiranyakayidi pratitaha.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Tayor hiranyaksha mahasurendaro ranayatavannavavaptavairi bhavat priyam kshamam salile nimajya chara garvan vitatan gatavan.
Last line, chachara.
Rendu
Chachar.
Chachara garvat vinatan gatavan. Tato jale sat sadrusham bhavantam nisham yebrahma kavekshyam stavam bhagat kadrishyas
Bhaktaika.
Bhaktaika drishyasya skripanite tvam Nirindiro Maruta Layesha. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane.
Vaidehi, can you just do the first 5 stanzas of 18?
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Ritucharita Varnanam. Jatasya Dhruvakula Eva Tungakirtehe Angasya Vyajani Sutasavena Nama Yadosha Vyatitamati Sada Javaryaha Vatpade Nihitamanāvanam Gato Bhūt Papo Vikshititala Palanaya Venaha Pauradhyairupanihitah Katora Viryaha Sarvebhyo Nijabalameva Samprashamsan Bhuchakre Tava Yajananyayam Nyarausit Samprapte Hitakathanaya Tapasaughe Mattonyo Bhuvana Patirnakaschaneti Tvanninda Vachana Paro Munishwaraistaihi Shapagno Shalabhadashamanayi Venaha Annashat Kalajana Birukair Munindraihi Tanmatra Chirapari Rakshite Tadange Tyaktaghe Parimatitad Torudhandat Dordande Parimatite Tvamavirasihi Vikyatah Rituriti Tapasopadishtaihi Sutadhyaih Parinuta Bhavi Bhuri Viryaha Tenartya Kabalita Sampadam Dharitrim Akrantam Nija Dhanusha Samamakarshi.
Okay, so we'll start from 6 today. Welcome back, Sangeeta. So you can be a student today. Vijay, can you be a student as well? First half.
Yes.
And then second, Sridevi Garu, you can be a student. Jayashree Irkela, Niki. Okay, second half and you can be student, okay, with Sridevi.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So before we start with 6, right, I said I'll give you a quick context of this Dasakam 18. So in the Prithu, so the word Prithvi that we tell in Hindi or Sanskrit to refer to earth came from the root word Prithu. That is a root word, and it is this Prithu Charitram, which is Dasakam 18. So this Prithu was also a part incarnation of Narayana, although it's not very well known. That's because like compared to like we said, I think once some other time, right? Like every avataram is like a portion of the Lord is getting incarnated. In case of Prithu, it was not as much as Narasimha or Vamana or anything, but that's why it's not very well known. But that is also one of the incarnation of the Lord. So this is actually coming in the hierarchy or dynasty of Dhruva. So in the hierarchy of Dhruva, there was a king who was called as Vena. So that Vena king, he was unlike Dhruva and everybody else, and his son. This Vena was kind of a very evil king, and he then went around the world tormenting people and all that stuff. And he had a lot of great powers. And anybody who was doing yajnam everywhere, he used to go and destroy that. And he believed that he was the supreme lord, like Hiranyakashipu. He also kept thinking that he's the supreme lord, and nowhere and he everywhere he stopped all the yajnam from happening and all that. And because of that, the rest of the earth also was not prospering, because if the king, the ruler of the world is not proper, and then all the right things are not getting done, everything was also going sideways. So all the sages, they assembled, and then they cursed this Vena, saying that you are disrupting all the good things that are happening. And so they cursed him, and then Vena ends up dying. And they just say in the like it comes in Devi Mahatmyam, right? They just say a letter, they just utter some letters, and just with that Vena dies. So and then once Vena dies, then what they're able to do is they're able to, from Vena comes, all the sins are getting removed, and from Vena a body comes out, right? And that is Prithu, which is the part incarnation of the Lord. So once the Lord then comes, then he goes around and he cleans up the earth, right? So cleans up the earth in the sense that a lot of things were not happening. So he starts bringing the earth back into the righteous ways. Also, the earth was not able to produce all the right crops and fruits and vegetables and spices and herbs. So all of that he fixed. That's why he kind of, since he recovered the earth, right, and brought it back, that's why the earth itself is named after this Prithu, and that's why it's called Prithivi. So that is what has happened so far, till kind of like the 5 or 6 that we have actually done. And later on, what happens is this Prithu goes on and performs about 99 Ashwamedha Yajnams. And like every other time, when the 100th is going to happen, just like it happened to Mahabali, Indra comes and tries to disrupt it. However, Prithu's son then goes and brings Indra back, and they're about to get rid of Indra. Brahma comes and then reminds this Prithu that he himself is a part incarnation, and he also realizes when Vishnu comes and Sanaka and everybody come, and then it's kind of like a realization that Prithu has, that he himself is the Lord, right, who has taken birth in this case. So that is the quick Prithu Charitram, right, that is happening in 18. And then the reason I'm saying that is 19th, when we go, that's a continuation of this Prithu Charitram as well. Okay, there we'll jump into stanza 6. भूयस्तां निजकुलमुख्यवत्सयुक्तैः देवाध्यैः समुचितचारुभाजनेषु अन्नाधीन्यभिलषितानि यानि तानि स्वच्छन्दं सुरभितनुमधूदुहस्त्वम्. So here Surabhi is referring to Kamadhenu. So because it is all giving cow, the simile, or what they're comparing it to, is they're comparing earth to Kamadhenu. So Prithu is able to, then the earth is coming in the form of a cow, because the cow gives a lot of things, right? So the cow milk you can convert into ghee, butter, and everything else, tair, yogurt. And the cow urine is beneficial. Even the cow's poop is also, chani is also used for other benefits, right? So similarly, they say the earth. So what Prithu is doing is the earth is manifesting itself like a cow, and then giving all the various things that everybody needs. So bhuyastam Nija Kula Mukhya Vatsa Yuktaihi. Put a visarga at the very end and a comma, Yuktaihi. Next, on top of de, if you have a ir, remove that. So Deva Dhehi is there. Put a is to join. Deva Dheis Samuchita Charu Bhajaneshu. Next line, Annadhinya Bhilashitani Yani Tani. All of them are short knees. Annadhinya Bhilashitani Yani Tani, comma. Swachandam Surabhi. The next word, you can break it at the ma if you want. Tanu Adudu Hastwam, or you can say it together. Tanu Madudu Hastwam. Bhuyastam Nijakula Mukhya Vatsa Yuktaihi Devadhyai Samuchita Charu Bhajaneshu Annadinya Bhilashitani Yani Tani Swachandam Surabhitanum Adudu Hastwam. Vijay.
भूयस्तां निजकुलमुख्यवत्सयुक्तैः देवाद्यैः समुचितचारुभाजनेषु अन्नाधीन्यविलसितानि यानि तानि स्वच्छन्दं सुरभितनूम् अदूदुहस्त्वम् भूयस्तां निजकुलमुख्यवत्सयुक्तैः देवाद्यैः समुचितचारुभाजनेषु अन्नाधीन्यविलसितानि यानि तानि स्वच्छन्दं सुरभितनुम् अदूदुहस्त्वम्.
Vijay, the last, the Surabhi, the su is a short su, Surabhi.
Okay. Swachandam surabhita. Okay. Yeah.
Achalat Rajesh.
Go ahead, Sangeeta. Yeah.
भूयस्तां निजकुलमुख्यवत्सयुक्तैः देवाद्यैः समुचितचारुभाजनेषु अन्नादीन्यभिलषितानि यानि तानि स्वच्छन्दं सुरभितनुम् अदूदुहस्त्वम् भूयस्तां निजकुलमुख्यवत्सयुक्तैः देवाद्यैः समुचितचारुभाजनेषु अन्नादिन्यभिलषितानि यानि तानि स्वच्छन्दं सुरभितनुम् दुहस्त्वम्.
Stanzas 1. Atmanam yajati makhaistvai tridhaman arabdhe shatatamavaji medhayage spardhalu shatamaka etyani chavesho hritvashram tavatanayat parajito bhoot. This is where Indra is coming. The Shata Makha is referring to Indra because he has completed, like we said, I think I might have said, I don't know which class, but anyone who performs 100 Ashwamedha Yajna gets the post of Indra. So Indra is like a title. It's like a CEO or a president title. It is not the name of a person. And every time different Manus come, the different Indras also happen. So here anyway, Shata Makha is referring to Indra, whoever was the Indra at that time. So Atmanam Yajati Makhais Twai Tridhaman. So put a in at the end of that line. Tridhaman, comma. Next line, if you have the double na that goes away, put a a. So Arabdhe Shatatama Vaji Medha Yage. Spardaluhu is there, put a ish sound. Spardalush Shatamaka Etya Nicha Vesho, comma. Hritvashram, Hritvashram Tava Tanayat Parajito Bhoot. Atmanam Yajati Makhaistvai Tridhaman Arabde Shatatamavaji Medhayage Spardhalu Shatamaka Etyani Chavesho Hritvashram Tava Tanayat Parajito Bhoot.
Atmanam yajati makhaitvai tridhaman arabdhe shatatama vajimedhayage spardhalushatamaka etyani chavesho shrutvashvam tavatanayat parajito bhoot. Atmanam yajati makhaitvai tridhaman arabdhe shatatama vajimedhayage Spardhalushatamaka etyani chavesho Shrutvashvam tavatanayat parajito bhoot.
Atmanam yajati makaistvai tridaman arabde shatatamavaji medayage spardhalushatamaka ityanishchavesho Hritvashvam tavatanayat parajito bhoot.
Sangeeta, third line, Shatamaka Etya.
Etya.
Etya Nicha Vesho.
Okay. Atmanam yajati makaistvai tridaman arabde shatatamavaji medayage spardhalushatamaka etya nityavesho hritvashvam tavatanayat parajito bhoot.
The third line, last word, right? Nicha Vesho. I think you're saying Nicha or something. Nicha.
Is the ni. Okay, nicha
Okay.
vesho.
Stanza 8. Devendram Muhurati Vajinam Harantam, comma. Vannau tam munivara mandale juhushau rundhane kamala bhave kratoho is there, put a visarga is there, letter, kratos samaptau, comma, sakshat tvam madhuripum aikshata, if you want to break it, madhuripum aikshataha is there, put a is, aikshatas swayam swam. So here kamala bhave means one who's come from the lotus, which is Brahma. So Brahma is coming and saying, do not hurt Indra. And at the same time, sakshatvam, you yourself are coming in the form of madhuripo, means one who's gotten rid of madhu kaitaba madhu, which is Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu also comes right there as this Prithu is completing his 100th Ashwamedha Yaga, but they tell him not to complete it because then that means that current Indra is going to be out of power. Devendram muhurti vajinam harantam vannau tam munivara mandale juhushau rundhane kamala bhave kratos samaptau sakshat tvam madhuripumaikshatas swayam swam.
Devendram muhuriti vajinam harantam vannau tam munivara mandale juhushau rundhane kamala bhave krito samaptau sakshat tvam madhuripam aikshata swayam swam. Devendram muhuriti vajinam harantam vannau tam munivara mandale juhushau rundhane kamala bhave krito samaptau sakshat tvam madhuripam aikshata swayam swam.
Devendram muhurti vajinam harantau vahnau tam munivara mandale juhushau rundane kamala bhave kritau samaptau sakshatvam madhuripum akshata ekshata swayam swam.
Sangeeta, so the two small things. Third line like kratos samaptau, third line ended, kratos samaptau. And then last line, madhuripum aikshatas. Okay, so you're following Sanskrit, yeah. So on the last stanza, like third line, we had athya, right? So that is that sign, right? A sign. Here that will have that I, two more lines on top, right? So it becomes I. So aikshatas.
Aikshatas, okay. Devendram muhurati vajinam harantau vannau.
Harantam anga.
Oh, என்னோட bookல harantam, okay. Devendram mahurati vajinam harantam vannau tam munivara mandale juhushau rundane kamala bhave krato samaptau sakshatvam madhuripum aikshata swayam swam.
Tad dhatham. So there are double da and double ta coming there. Tad dhatham varam upalabhya bhakti mekam, comma, gangante vihita padaha. Is there, put a ik sound, vihita padah kadapi deva satrastam muni nivaham hitani shamsanne, put a in at the end of that line and a comma, shamsanne, comma. Next line, if you have double na and the I, remove it and put again just the I. Aichishta. Aichishtaha is there, put a is sound. Aichishtas sanaka mukhan munin purastat. Taddatham varamupalabhya bhakti mekam gangante vihita padah kadapi deva satrastam muni nivaham hita nishamsanne aichishthassanaka mukhan munin purastat.
Tadhattam varamupalabhya bhakti meka gangante vihita padakkadapi deva satrastam muni nivaham hita nishamsan aikshikshta Sanakamukhan Munin Purasthat.
Vijay, in the last line, Aichishtas is, and the Visarka you can put there, okay?
Okay. Aichishtas Sanakamukhan Munin Purasthat. Taddattam varamupalabhya bhakti mekam Gangante vihita padak kadapi deva Satrastam muninivaham hitani shamsan Aichikshtas Sanakamukhan Munin Purastat.
Taddattam varamupalabhya bhaktimekam Gangante vihita padav kadapi deva Sastrastam muninivaham hitani samshan Aikshastas sanakamukan munin purastat Taddattam varamupalabhya bhaktimekam Gangante vihita padav kadapi deva Sastrastam muninivaham hitani samshan Aikshikstas sanakamukan munin purastat.
And the fourth line first, right? Aichishtas.
Aichikshtas.
Yeah. So the best is, since it's got a couple of tongue twisters there, and the she and then ish is there, right? You try to say that together. Aichishtas.
Aichikshtas sanakamukan munin purastat.
Stanza 10. Vijnanam sanaka mukhoditam dhadanaha, comma, swatmanam swayam agamo or swayam agamo vananta sevi tattadrik prutu vapurisha satvaram me, comma, rogaugham prashamaya vata geha vasin. That's why here it's saying the second line that swayam swatmanam. So you attained, you realized that you yourself were a part incarnation of the Lord. So you realize that, and then eventually you merge into the Lord as well. So here, that's why in the third line also, Bhatripad is saying you, which is because he's talking to Guru Ayyappan. So he's saying you who took the form of Prithu. So who was born in the form of Prithu, Vata Geha Vasan, who is also a resident of Guruvayur right now, Rogaugam Prashamaya. Please eradicate all my ailments and diseases. So that's why this is a part incarnation of the Lord as well. Vijnanam sanaka mukhoditam dadhanaha swatmanam swayamagamo vananta sevi tattadrik prithuva purisha satvaram me rogaugham prashamaya vata geha vasin.
Vijnanam sanakamukhoditam dadhanaha swatmanam swayamagamo vananta sevi tattadrik prithu vapurisha satvaram me roghaugham prashamaya vata geha vasin. Sorry. Vijnanam sanakamukhoditam dadhanaha swatmanam swayamagamo vananta sevi tattadrik prithuva purisha satvaram me roghaugham prashamaya vata geha vasin.
Vijnanam sanakamukhoditam dadhanaha swatmanam swayamagamo vananta sevi tattadrik prithuva purisha satvaram me rogaugam prashamaya vata geha vasin. Vijnanam sanakamukhoditam dadhanaha swatmanam swayamagamo vananta sevi tattadrik prithuva purisha satvaram me rogaugam prashamaya vata geha vasin.
Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. That was a quick chapter. Even this 19th is a pretty small chapter. So this is Prachetas, right? That's the story of the Prachetas. So I'll tell you the summary meaning. We'll do a couple of stanzas and then I'll explain the meaning of a few stanzas together. So Pritostu Napta Pritu Dharma karmataha, comma, prachina barhir barhir. So 2 ears coming there. Prachina barhir yuvatau shata drutau prachetaso nama suchetasaha. Is that put a is suchetasas sutan in, put a in at the end of that line and a comma, sutan. Last line, the na goes away, replace it with the a. Ajijanat tvat karunankuraniva. That word is together, karunankuraniva. Prithostunapta pritudharma karmataha prachina barhiryuvatau shatadrutau prachetaso nama suchetasasutan ajijanatvat karunankuraniva.
पृथोस्तुनप्ता पृथुधर्म कर्मठः प्राचीन बर्हिर्युवतौ शतधृतौ प्रचेतसो नाम सुचेतससुतान् अजीजनत्वत्करुणाङ्कुरानिव पृथोस्तुनप्ता पृथुधर्म कर्मठः प्राचीन बर्हिर्युवतौ शतधृतौ प्रचेतसो नाम सुचेतससुतान् अजीजनत्वत्करुणाङ्कुरानिव.
पृथोस्तुनप्त्वा पृथुधर्मकर्मटः प्राचीन बर्हिर्युवतो शतधृतौ प्रचेतसो नाम सुचेतससुतान् अजीजनत्वत्करुणाङ्कुरानिव पृथोस्तुनप्त्वा पृथुधर्मकर्म.
Sorry, Sangeet, I want to correct. You are saying naptva, this napta.
Napta. Okay, sorry, I'm not reading error. Pruttostунapta prutudharmakarmataha prachina barhiryuvatau shatadrutau prachetasau nama suchetasasutan ajijanatvat karunankuraniva.
So in the napta, the word that is come there, anyone remember where else it came? In one important, which most of you probably know, that letter comes. Vishnu Sahasranama Dhyana Sloka, it will come. Vyasam Vasishtha Naptaram, right? So Napta means it's like a great grandson. So grandson and then great grandson means one more layer. So Vyasam Vasishtha Naptaram. So Vyasa, who is the great grandson of Vasishtha. So similarly here, the Prithu, who we learned, who we spoke about in the previous chapter, his great grandson is this person called Prachina Barhir. So he's called Prachina Barhir because he was also like a Dharma Karmataha. He was just like his great grandfather, right? He was also a very righteous person who did all the right things. And what he did was he performed thousands of yajnams, and in all the yajnams, Barhis means Darbai, and Prachina means facing east. So he performed yajnams all over the world where he kept the Darbai facing east side. That's how he did all his the yajnams, and that's why he was called as Prachina Barhis. That's how the word, his word name came about. Anyway, so Pituhu is there. Put a is next stanza. Pituhu, put a is Pitus Sisriksha Niratasya Shasanad, and then put a plus. Bhavat Tapasya Bhirata Dashapi Te. So those two lines are together. Payonidhim Paschimam Etya. Paschimam Etya Tattate Sarovaram Sanda Drishur Manoharam. Pitus Sisriksha Niratasya Shasanad Bhavat Tapasya Bhirata Dashapite Payonidhim Paschimamethya Tattate Sarovaram Sandadrishur Manoharam.
ஒரே ஒரு கொஸ்டின் சார். இதுல வந்து மனோகரம் சம் தத்ருஷ சரோவரம் மாத்தி இருக்கு.
Sanda, திரும்பி சொல்லுங்க.
இந்த வந்து கடைசி லைன் வந்து மனோகரம் சம் தத்ருஷ சரோவரம்
Sarovaram.
மாறி.
Yeah, that's okay. I think it means the same thing, but you can just change it for consistency. Put Sarovaram first. I'll tell you the meaning of it a little later. But Sarovaram Sandadrishur Manoharam. Okay.
சந்த. ஓகே, இதுல சம்ததன் இருக்கு. ஓகே, சம்தத் அப்படின்னு இருக்கு.
Sandadrishur. The da first da. Sandadrishur.
ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ.
पितुस्सृक्षा निरतस्य शासनात् भवत्तपस्याभिरता दशापिते पयोनिधिं पश्चिममेत्य तत्तटे सरोवरं सन्दृदुषुर्मनोहरम्.
Vijay, the first two lines together. Na?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Plus
पितुस्सृक्षा निरतस्य शासनात् भवत्तपस्याभिरता दशापिते पयोनिधिं पश्चिममेत्य तत्तटे सरोवरं सन्दृदुषुर्मनोहरम्.
And the last word, right? Last word of the fourth line, Sandha Drishur.
Oh, Sandha Drishur Manohar. Sandha Drishur Manoharam.
Yeah.
पितुस्सृष्या निरतस्य शासनाद् भवत्तपस्या निरता दशापिते पयोनिधिं पश्चिममेत्य तत्तते सरोवरं सन्ददृशुर्मनोहरम्.
Sangeeta, the first two lines together, right? And then second line, Tapasya Bhirata. You said Nirata. Do you have a na there? Ni there?
I do have an R there. Yes.
Okay. So can you change it to a bha? Second bha. Bhirata.
Sure. Okay. पितुस्सृष्या निरतस्य शासनाद् भवत्तपस्याभिरता दशापिते पयोनिधिं पश्चिममेत्य तत्तते सरोवरं सन्ददृशुर्मनोहरम्.
Tada bhavat tirtamidam samagato, comma, bhavo bhavat sevaka darshanadritaha prakasham asadhya. You can break it with ma if you want. Prakasham asadhya puraha. Put a if purah. Prachetasam. Put a im at the end of the line, comma. Prachetasam, comma. Next line, the mu becomes a u. Upadishat bhakta tamas tava stavam.
Rajesh, on the third and fourth line, Orka Kudi, can you give the breakdown?
Yeah. Prakasham asadhya puraha. Make it if purah. Prachetasam, im at the end of that line and a comma. Then the fourth line, that mu goes away, becomes a u. Upadishat bhakta tamas tava stavam.
Thank you.
Tada bhavatirtamidam samagato bhavo bhavatsevaka darshanadritaha prakashamasadhya purah prachetasam upadishad bhakta tamas tavastavam.
Tada bhavattirtamidham samagato bhavo bhavet sevaka darshanadritaha prakashamasadhya purah prachetasam upadishat bhakta tamastavastavam. Tada bhavattirthamidham samagato bhavo bhavet sevaka darshanadritaha prakashamasadhya purah prachetasam upadishat bhakta tamastavastavam.
Second line, is it bhavo bhavya, bhavo bhavava?
Bhavo bhavat.
Bhavat. Okay, thank you. Tada bhavattirtamidam samagato bhavo bhavat sevaka darshanadritaha prakasha asadhya purah prachetasam upadishat bhakta tamastavastavam. Tada bhavat तीर्थमिदं समागतो भवो भवत्सेवकदर्शनादृतः प्रकाशमासाद्य पुरप्रचेतसाम् उपादिशद्भक्ततमस्तवस्तवम्.
Let's say fourth, and then I'll explain the meaning of the first four stanzas. Stavam japantas tamami jalantare bhavantamase bishata yutam samhaha bhavat sukha swadara sadamishmiyan babhuva kalo dhruvavanna shigrata. So we saw in the 18th one, Dhruva. From Dhruva came Vena from the Hindu hierarchy. Then from Vena, Prithu came. Then from Prithu, his great grandson was Prachina Barhir, right? We said, and because he conducted a lot of these yajnas facing on the east side, with Darbe on the east side. So this Prachina Barhis then has 10 children, and that's why they called us Prachetas, they were called as. So these 10 children, because Prachina Barhir was a very devout person, right? He performed all these yajnas and everything. So these Prachetas are also very devoted and committed to you a lot. So then when Prachina Barhis tells these 10 children that I want you to go all settle down, right? Get married and do all this. These people say no, they had other intentions. So they then went towards the Paschima Metya Tattate. They started going towards the Western Sea, which is the Arabian Sea, that area. So they started going towards the Western Sea. And when they went towards the Western Sea, they were looking for a suitable place for meditation. So there they saw a Sarovaram, which was Manoharam. Sarovaram means a lake or a water body. Manoharam means something which is very beautiful. So they saw a very beautiful lake, which had all these lotus and swans and all these things. So they decided that this is the place I want to meditate. Now, where was this lake, right? And this is not what I'm going to say is not said in Narayaneeyam, nor is it said in Bhagavatam, but I heard it from an Upanyasa. So you can take it for whatever the validity of that is. The third stanza here, it says, Tada Bhavat Tirthamidam, where Bhattatripad is writing Narayaneeyam, he's sitting in Guruvayur, and he's saying, they came to this water body of yours, he says, right? Because if it was somewhere else, he would have said they went somewhere, but he says they came here to this water body of yours. So one of the common interpretations is this was probably in that Guruvayur area water body, because first of all, they're going towards the west. And also what happens is when they come to this water body, they actually meet Prakashamasa in front of them, your most favorite person, which is Lord Shiva. They meet Shiva and Parvati there. So Shiva then tells them, I am going to teach you what to meditate on. And he then teaches them something called as Rudra Gita. So there's a set of stanzas called Rudra Gita, where Shiva is telling, this is what Brahma chanted when he started the process of creation. Then Brahma then taught this Rudra Gita to all of his children or all of his Manasa Putras, right? When they were starting the process of creation. So Shiva then tells these Prachetas, I am going to teach you the Rudra Gita. And the Rudra Gita is there in Bhagavatam. If any of you want, I can extract a summary and send it. So he then teaches the Rudra Gita to the Prachetas. And so these Prachetas, they then meditate Jalantare, underwater, for thousands of years. So they meditate underwater. And here the important thing here is here, because they say, unlike Dhruva, who was meditating only for 6 months, and the Lord came in front of him, these Prachetas did not want the Lord to come that soon, because they were enjoying their journey of meditation, thinking about the Lord, that they actually did not care for the Lord to come. They said, you know what, you take your time. We want to spend more time thinking about you and meditating on you. So they kept meditating for thousands of years, because of which the Lord also gave them this time and did not come in front of them like he came for Dhruva. That's what is happening here. So meditating for thousands of years. That's why there's also a little bit around the Sthala Puranam of Guruvayur about why it's a very famous area, right? Because that's where Mammiyur is there. For those who have been to that area, that was the original temple which was there, was the Shiva Parvati temple in Mammiyur. Then eventually when Guruvayur came, or when the idol of Krishna came, that Mammiyur essentially got displaced, and Guruvayur, the name changed to Guruvayur. Originally it was called Mammiyur, which is primarily a Shivan temple there. Stavam Japantas Tamami Jalantare, comma, Bhavantam You can break at that ma if you want. Bhavantam ase vishatayutam. That word is together. Ase vishatayutam samaha. Bhavat sukaswada rasada mishviyan. Rasada mishviyan, comma. Bhabuva kalo dhruvavanna shigrata. Stavam japantas tamami jalantare bhavantamase vishathayutam samaha bhavat sukha swadarasada babhuva kalo dhruvavanna shigrata.
Stavan japan stamami jalantare bhavantamase ase vishatayutam samaha bhavat sukha swadharasadhamishvayan babhuva kalo dhruvavanna shigrata.
Vijay, the third line, last word. Rasada mishviyan.
Rasadhamishviyan. Stavam japan stamami jalantare bhavantamase vishatayutam samaha bhavat sukha swadharasadhamishvayan babhuva kalo dhruvavanna shigrata.
Tavam japantam amami jalantare bhavantam ase vishatayutam samaha bhavat sukha swada rasadamishviyan babhuva kalo dhruvavan shigrata.
Sangeeta, and the first line, japantas, there's a is there. Do you have japantaha?
I have japanta mami.
Okay, japantas tamami. Is there. Because japantaha, which then you put a is to join essentially. So japantas tamami.
Samami. Japanta samami. Okay.
Japantas tamami. Ta.
Tamami. Shari. Okay. Tavam japantas samami jalantare bhavantam ase vishatayutam samaha bhavat sukha swada rasadamishviyana babhuva kalo dhruvavanna shigrata.
And again, I have a feeling that you're probably seeing something different in the first japantas tamami ta.
Okay. Stavam japantas tamami jalant.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah. Okay, let's just switch. Sridevi Garu and Jay Sri student. Stanza 5. Tapo bhireshamati matra vardhibihi, comma, sa yajna himsa niratopi pavitaha pitapi tesham grihayata narada, and then put a plus, pradarshitatma bhavadatmatam yayau. So third and fourth lines are together. Tapo bhiresha matimatra vardhibihi sayajna himsa nirato pipavitaha pitapi tesham grihayata narada pradarshitatma bhavadatmatam yayau.
Tapobhiresha matimatra vardhibihi sayagna himsa nirato pipavitaha pita pitesham gruhayata narada pradarshitatma bhavadatmatam yayau. Tapobhiresha matimatra vardhibihi sayagna himsa nirato pipavitaha pita pitesham gruhayata narada pradarshitatma bhavadatmatam yayau.
Tabo biresha madimatra vardhibihi sayajna himsa nirato bibhavidaha pita bidesham grihayada narada pradashidatma bhavadatmadam yayau. Tabo biresha madimatra vardhibihi sayajna himsa nirato bibhavidaha पिताभिदेशां गृहयाद नारद प्रदर्शिदात्मा भवदात्मदां ययौ.
Stanza 6. Kripa balenaiva puraha. Put a if purah prachetasam, comma. Prakashamagaha. Either again put a if prakashamagah patagendra vahanaha viraji chakradi varayudham shubhihi. So that then is you have to say that word together. Varayudham shubhihi. Put a visarga at the end and comma. Next line on top of the bhu, if you have the ir, remove that. So bhujabhir. The next word is a long word. I'll break it into 4 parts there, but you can try to say it together as well. Bhujabhir ashtabhir udanchita dyutihi. You can say it again. Bhujabhir ashtabhir. So remember, so essentially what's happening here is the prachetas who are meditating for thousands of years underwater, the Lord is appearing in front of them mounted on Garuda with 8 arms, not with 4 arms, normally Chaturbhuja. That's why here it is Bhujabhir Ashtabhir, with 8 arms you are appearing in front. That's why it's Ashtabhir. So remember that word. So Bhujabhir Ashtabhir Udanchita Dhyutihi.
First line la kripa pale naiva tatav prachetasam irukku. Tatava
Pura means in front.
okay.
Tataha means there, so you can change it to Puraha. Puraha and then put a Pura. So Pura Prachetasa means in front of the Prachetas, of the Prachetas. So what's happening also in the 5th stanza is, so although Prachina Barhis, who is Prachetas' father, he has done all these thousands of, hundreds of yajnas, one crime or one sin he did was, as part of the yajnas, he killed animals as sacrifice. So Narada is coming and telling him that, hey, look, you have done all these yajnas, but then you killed animals in the process, right? And all those animals, right, there is a karma you have built up because of killing those animals, which are eventually going to catch up with you. So but because his children are performing these thousands of years of tapas underwater, one of the things, and they know that what their father did was wrong. So one of the things they did was they tried to remove some of his sins, right, that Prachina Barhis has done. And eventually when Narada comes, and Narada then enlightens Prachina Barhis, and eventually he realizes, and then he does other things as well. So anyway, that's how he is able to reduce some of the sins that he has done, because otherwise Narada remains in that whatever you did were a lot of sins. So that's what is happening there. And here in 6 is because in front of Prachetas, the Lord is coming on Garuda with 8 arms, right, with one all shining around. So Kripa, okay, we already said that. Kripa balenaiva purah prachetasam prakashamagah patagendra vahanah viraji chakradi varayudham shubhihi bhujha birashta bhirudanchita dhyutihi.
Krupa balenaiva purah prachetasam prakashamagah patagendra vahanaha viraji chakradi varayudham shubhihi bhujabhirashta birudanchitadyutihi. Krupa balenaiva purah prachetasam prakashamagah patagendra vahanaha viraji chakradi varayudham shubhihi bhujabhirashta birudanchitadyutihi.
कृपापलेनैव पुरः प्रचेतसां प्रकाशमागाः पदकेन्द्रवाहनः विराजिचक्रादिवरायुधां शुभिः भुजाभिरष्टाभिरुदञ्चिदत्युदिः कृपाबलेनैव पुरः प्रचेदसां प्रकाशमागाः पदकेन्द्रवाहनः विराजिचक्रादिवरायुधां शुभिः भुजाभिरष्टाभिरुदञ्चिदत्युदिः.
Answer 7. Prachetasam Tavada yacha tamapi. So that word is together. Tavada yacha tamapi, comma. Tvameva karunya bharadvaranadaha. Bharadvaranadaha. Bhavat vichintapi shivaya dehinam. Bhavat vasau rudranu tischa kamada. Rudranu Tishcha Kamada. So when the Lord comes in front, the Prachetas, like I said, they really did not care about any returns. They did not, in fact, they did not even want the Lord to come so fast, right? Because they were enjoying their journey of meditating and thinking about the Lord for thousands of years. So eventually, when the Narayana comes in front, he then offers them boons, even though the Prachetas did not ask for anything. So out of extreme compassion, he offered them all the boons, and also said the last line here, he says, Rudranutihi, the Rudra Gita, which Rudra had, Shiva had taught these Prachetas, he says, the Lord himself says, whoever says that will get a lot of benefits out of it, because that's the one of the highest form of prayers, because it came all the way from Brahma, right? It came all the way from Brahma onto others, and eventually the Prachetas also have learned it. Prachetasam tavadaya chatamapi Tvameva karunya bharatvaranadhaha bhavat vichintapi shivaya dehinam bhavat vasau rudranutischa kamadha.
प्रचेतसां तावदया च तामपि त्वमेव कारुण्यभराद्वरानदाः भवद्विचिन्तापि शिवाय देहिनां भवद्वसौ रुद्रनुतिश्च कामदा. प्रचेतसां तावदया च तामपि त्वमेव कारुण्यभराद्वरानदाः भवद्विचिन्तापि शिवाय देहिनां भवद्वसौ रुद्रनुतिश्च कामदा.
प्रचेतसां तावदयाशतामपि त्वमेव कारुण्यपरात्वरानदाः भवद्विचिन्तापि शिवाय देहिनां भवद्वसौ रुद्रनुदिश्च कामदा. प्रचेतसां तावदयाशतामपि त्वमेव कारुण्यपरात्वरानदाः भवद्विचिन्तापि शिवाय देहिनां भवद्वसौ रुद्रनुदिश्च कामदा.
Stanza A. Avapya kantam tanayam mahiruham, comma, taya ramadhvam dasha laksha vatsarim sutostu daksho nanu tat kshanacha mam. So tat and then ksha is coming. So tat kshanacha mam, comma, prayasya teti nyagato mudaiva tan. The last two lines, just be careful, just little, and the words are little tongue twisters there. Avapya kantam tanayam mahiruham taya ramadhvam dashalaksha vatsarim sutostu daksho nanu takshanachamam prayasyateti nyagato mudaivatan.
अवाप्य कान्तां तनयां महीरुहां तया रमध्वं दशलक्षवत्सरीं सुतोस्तु दक्षो ननु तक्षणाच्च मां प्रयास्यतेति न्यगदो मुदैवतान्. अवाप्य कान्तां तनयां महीरुहां तया
Mahiruham.
Oh, sorry. Avapya kantam tanayam mahiruham taya ramadhvam dasalakshavatsarim sutostu daksho nanutakshanachamam prayastyateti nyagado mudaivatan.
अवाप्यकान्तां तनयां महीरुहां दयारमत्वं दशलक्षवत्सरीं सुतोस्तु तक्षो ननु तत्क्षणाक्षमां प्रयास्यतेदि न्यगदो मुदैवतान्. अवाप्य कान्तां तनयां महीरुहां दयारमत्वं दशलक्षवत्सरीं सुतोस्तु तक्षो ननु तच्चनाक्षमां प्रयास्ततेदि न्यगतो मुदैवतान्.
stanza 9. Tatascha te bhutala rodhinas tarun, comma, bhutala rodhinas tarun, kruda dahanto druhinena varitaha, drumaischa dattam tanayam avapya. If you want to break it, tanayam avapya tam, comma, twadukta kalam Sukhino bhi remire. So that word you can say it together. Sukhino bhi remire. Tataschate bhutala rodhinastarun kruda dahanto druhine navaritaha drumaischa dattam tanayam avapyatam twadukta kalam sukhino bhiremire.
Tataschate bhutala rodinastarun krudha dahamto druhine navaritaha drumaischa dattam tanayam avapyatam twadukta kalam sukhino bhiremire. Tataschate bhutala rodinastarun krudha dahamto druhine navaritaha drumaischa dattam tanayam avapyatam twadukta kalam sukhino bhiremire.
तदश्चते पूदलरोदिनस्तरुन् कृता दहन्तो द्रुहिणेन वारिताः द्रुमैश्च तत्तां तनयाम् अवाप्यतां त्वदुक्तकालं सुगिनो बिरेमिरे.
Jayashri, second line, first word, krudha.
कृता वा कृता?
Dha.
ओके, कृता.
Ama, dha.
तदश्चते भूदलरोदिनस्तरुन् कृता दहन्तो द्रुहिणेन वारिताः द्रुमैश्च तत्तां तनयाम् अवाप्यतां त्वदुक्तकालं सुगिनो बिरेमिरे.
Avapya daksham cha sutam kritadvaraha, comma, prachetaso narada labdhaya dhiya ava purananda padam tatha vidaha. So visarga there, tatha vidaha, visarga and a comma. Next line is goes away. So Tomisha Vatalaya Nata Pahimam. So again, the Prachetas, they then leave, they then continue, and then they continue on the like Prachina Barhis and everything. They continue in that tradition, right, of taking care of the earth. And when they come back after 1,000 years, they find that there are trees everywhere in the earth because nobody has been taking care of things. So they try to eliminate all the trees, but then Brahma and others come and tell them not to and all that. So anyway, they get married, and they have a son by name Daksha, nothing to do with the other Daksha, Parvati's father Daksha, but they have a son by name Daksha. And then eventually they also get enlightened by Narada and everything, and they attain your Lord. Avapura Nandapadam, they attain the state of moksha. Avapya daksham chasutam kritadvaraha prachetaso narada labdhaya dhiya avapura nandapadam tatha vidaha Twamisha Vatalayanatha Pahimam.
Avapya daksham chasutam krutadvaraha prachetaso naradalabdhaya dhiya avapurananda padam tatha vidaha tvamisha vatalayanatha pahimam. Avapya daksham chasutam krutadvaraha prachetaso naradalabdhaya dhiya avapurananda padam tatha vidaha tvamisha vatalayanatha pahimam. Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namah.
अवाप्य दक्षं च सुदं कृदात्वराः प्रचेदसो नारदलब्धया धिया अवापुरानन्दपदं तदा विदः त्वमीशवातालयनाद पाहि माम् अवाप्य दक्षं च सुदं कृदात्वराः प्रचेतसो नारदलब्धया धिया अवापुरानन्दपदं तदा विदः त्वमीशवातालयनाद पाहि माम्.
This is a very quick and small chapter. I know we have still some 20 minutes left. So maybe in the next chapter, we'll do a couple of stanzas, right? 2-3 stanzas. Next week, we are going to have the review class. So I will send the assignments today. And we won't do 20 in next class, but only whatever we have learned so far, right? Up to 19, I will assign. Okay, so let's get started. Maybe a couple of stanzas, let's just do today. So stanza 1. Priya Vratasya Priya Putra Bhutat. So put it at the end of that line and a comma. Bhutat. Next line, the da goes away, it becomes a. So Agnidra. Agnidra Raja Dudito. Raja Dudito Hi Nabhihi. Tvam Drishtavan. So next word, I'll break it into 4 parts, but you say whatever is convenient. Drishtavan Ishtadam Ishti. Ishtadam Ishti Madhye. So 4 parts. Drishtavan Ishtadam Ishti Madhye, comma, Tavaiva Tushtiyai Krita Yajna Karma. Priya Vratasya Priya Putra Bhutate Agnidhra Dudito Hinabhihi Tvam Drishtavanishtadamishti Madhye Tavaiva Tushtiyai Krita Yajna Karma.
प्रियव्रतस्य प्रियपुत्र भूतात् अग्निद्रराजा दुदितो हिनाभिः त्वां दृष्टवानिष्टदमिष्टि मध्ये तवैव तुष्ट्यै कृतयज्ञकर्मा.
Today we got a second line, Agnidra, long.
प्रियव्रतस्य प्रियपुत्र भूतात् आग्निद्रराजा दुदितो हिनाभिः त्वां दृष्टवानिष्टदमिष्टि मध्ये तवैव तुष्ट्यै कृतयज्ञकर्मा.
प्रियव्रतस्य प्रियपुत्र भूतात् आग्नित्र राजादुदितो हिनाभिः त्वां दृष्ट्वान् इष्टदमिष्टि मध्ये तदैव दुष्टै कृत यज्ञकर्मा.
Yes, in the third line, Tvam Drishta. The full ta is I think you said Drisht. It you said, I heard. Drishtavan.
Oh, Tvam Drishtavan. Okay.
Yeah.
प्रियव्रतस्य प्रियपुत्र भूतात्. Correct. இன்னொரு தடவை பாரு. प्रियव्रतस्य प्रियपुत्र भूतात् आग्नित्र राजादुदितो हिनाभिः त्वां दृष्टवान् इष्टदमिष्टि मध्ये तदैव दुष्टै कृतज्ञकर्मा.
The last line, first word, Tavaiva. I think you have something else there.
Tavaiva.
Oh, sorry. Tavaiva.
Tavaiva Krishtiyai Krita Yajna Karma.
Tavaiva Dushtei then?
First ta, Tushtiyai.
Oh, Tushtei. Okay.
Okay. And the last line, can you just say that again? Just the last line.
Sure. Tvam Drishtavan Ishtada. Okay. Tvam Drishtavan Ishtadamishti Madhye Tavaiva Dushtai Kritagnakarma.
Krita Yajnakarma.
Tavaiva Dushtai Kritayajnakarma.
Correct. Yeah, got it. Abhishtu tas tatra munishwarais tvam, comma, Ragnyaha is there, put a is Ragnyas Swatulyam Sutam Artyamanaha Swayam janishyeham iti bruvanaha, visarga there and a comma, bruvanaha, comma. Next line like is goes away. Tirodadha barhishi vishwamurte. So this one is actually the first birth of the Lord, right? Before as Kapila and as Krishna. This is the first one, but I'll tell the meaning separately in the next class or something. Abhishtodastatra munishwaraistvam rajñasvatulyam sutamartyamanaha swayam janishyeham bruvanaha tirodadha barhishi vishwamurte.
Rajesh, Abhishtun titra Abhishtu adu.
And the Abhishtu alladu. Actually, it's praising. In the Abhishtu actually is praising. I don't know why when you're scolding, we're saying Abhishtu,
Abhishtu.
Na Jayesh it solinde irundhen. Seriya nee padikala par Abhishtu nu aarambichikara.
In this context, Abhishtu is actually like praising. All the Munishwara, all the sages around are praising you. That's what it means actually here, Abhishtu. I don't know how that changed in meaning, in slang.
Abhishtutastatra munishwaraistvam rajñasvatulyam sutamartyamanaha swayam janishyeham bruvanaha tirodadha barhishi. Okay. Tirodadha barhishi vishwamurte abhishtutastatra munishwaraistvam rajñasvatulyam sutamartyamanaha swayam janishyeham bruvanaha tirodadha barhishi vishwamurte.
Abhishtutastatra munishwaraistvam rajñasvadulyam sudamartyamanaha swayam janishyeham bruvanaha tirodadha barhishi vishwamurte.
Barhishi.
Bahirshi.
Ir comes after ba. Okay, and although the ir in the writing, even in Sanskrit, it comes after he, but it is said before he. So it's barhishi.
Barhishi, yeah?
Barhishi.
Tamil bahi irshi nu potirukku.
Even Sanskrit even they write it, the ir comes after the he. He put it, they put the ir sign. But every time that is, it actually has to come. When you said, it is said before that letter. So barhishi.
Abhishtutastatra munishwaraistvam rajñasvadulyam sudamartyamanaha swayam janishyeham bruvanaha tirodadha barhishi vishwamurte.
Stanza 3. Nabhi priyayamata meru devyam, comma, twamam shato bhur. So it's actually twam amshato, but you can say it together. Twamam shato bhur rishabhabi dhanaha aloka samanya guna prabhava, and then put a plus, prabhavitashesha jana pramodaha. Nabhipriyayamatameru devyam twam shato bhurishabhabidhanaha aloka samanya guna prabhava prabhavitashesha jana pramodaha.
Nabhipriyaya matameru devyam twamam shato bhurushabhabhidhanaha aloka samanya guna prabhava prabhavita shesha jana pramodaha. Nabhipriyaya matameru devyam twamam shato bhurushabhabhidhanaha आलोक सामान्य गुण प्रभाव प्रभाविता शेष जन प्रमोदः
नाभिप्रिया यामद मेरुदेव्यां त्वमं शतोभुर्ऋषभाभितानः अलोक सामान्य गुण प्रभाव प्रभाविदाशेष जन प्रमोदः नाभिप्रियायामद मेरुदेव्यां त्वमं शतोभुर्ऋषभाभितानः अलोक सामान्य गुण प्रभाव प्रभाविदाशेष जन प्रमोदः.
Shri Krishnaya Brahmane Namaha. Okay, we end the class here today.
Rajesh, the second line la break irka, the guna prabhava prabhavi
Plus adu.
plus adu, okay.
Yeah, that second line or whatever you have it, the last two things are together.
Okay.
Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadebhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurpurusharthatmakam brahmatattvam tattavad bhati sakshat gurupavanapure hanta bhagyam janatam kahena vacha manasendriyerva बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि.